This here is a 2020 Hyundai i20 Asta and I'm going to review it. So before we get on with the review, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel because we have loads of interesting content coming and you'll be notified whenever we make a new upload. Anyways, I'm Shyam Anand and this is Hyper Automobiles. Now, starting off this review by talking about the design of the new i20, you can see that it uses Hyundai's latest design language. That is a huge one-piece grille painted in black, which connects both the headlamps, which is pretty cool. The bumper in general is a very smart-looking bumper, very aggressive one. Coming to fakery, a little bit over in the sides, but other than that, it's pretty real. So I forgive Hyundai for that. And you have fog lamps over here, and you have real venting, which I like over here, which ensures smooth airflow through the side of the wheels. Pretty cool. Coming to the bonnet, lot of cuts and creases, very sporty looking car from the front, I have to admit. And then coming to the side, so you're going to find a lot of the sporty looking things everywhere around this car because there are a lot of cuts and creases. As you can see, there are two over here and a lot basically. You have chrome, as this is the Asta and this is the top of the range one, which is pretty cool. Only thing, it costs around 11 lakhs, so yeah, not pretty cool in that. And then coming to the wheels, you get 16s all around as standard. You can't upgrade them to 17s or 18s, which is fine, I guess. You get discs in the front and drums in the back. And then coming over to the back slowly, you can see that this is also the latest design language of Hyundai. You have these Z-shaped headlamps, which is pretty cool. And you have i20 written over here, if you can notice. That is a very nice touch according to me. You have a rear wiper, a shark fin antenna, and you have Hyundai badging over here, i20 written over there, and Asta, the top variant. Now, coming to the interior of the new i20, I just noticed that the doors are very light and getting in is fairly easy, which I did not expect. I seriously did not expect that. And again, coming to the steering wheel, it has steering mounted controls. You have the Hyundai logo over here, and this is Hyundai's new signature 4-spoke steering wheel. Feels very solid. You have the stocks for the lights and stocks for the wipers over here. I'll show the instrument cluster and infotainment system in a minute. And before that, we'll just come to the general layout of the dashboard, and I do really like it. It feels very complex or something like that, because just like the outside, the sporty theme is going on over here. There is a lot of cuts and creases. Again, you have a lot of cuts over here. Goes in flow with the AC vents, which is pretty cool. And you have the hazard lamps over here. And I'm happy they kept the climate controls as with physical buttons, because I am not the biggest fan of digital buttons, as they're kind of fiddly to deal with. And then over here you have a 12-volt socket, and you have a USB port, a charging port, a lot of things. You have wireless charging over here, which is pretty cool, and you have to get it with the top vent one. That is the Asta. And over here you have a 5-speed manual transmission, which is, yeah, this is personally my choice. And yeah, over here you have the handbrake, you have cup holders, and coming to the general storage in the front, you have glove box over here, which is extremely deep. It goes a lot inside. And then coming to the door bins, they are kind of small, but it's manageable, completely manageable. And then coming to the armrest, center console, you have some space over here under your armrest. That's very little according to me. You have more in the glove box. You have two cup holders over here, as you can see, 1 and 2. You have a vanity mirror for the passenger, but you don't have one for the driver, which is kind of, I don't know, different, but it's fine. You have two reading lights over here, and you have a sunglass holder, which is pretty cool. And then you have a sunroof. So to open the sunroof, you just have to pull this. This is manual. And you have the sunroof, which you just have to pull this over here. And yeah, it's not pretty slow, it's pretty fast. And yeah, it's not a panoramic sunroof, obviously it's an electric sunroof, which is pretty small. Now coming to the infotainment system, what you get here is a 10.25-inch infotainment system, and it is not that laggy, honestly. So it's basically you get what you're paying for, and it's not that laggy. Of course, the map is kind of compromised, but honestly, that doesn't matter. The home, however, is very fluent, and I really like it. Coming to the instrument cluster, you can see that everything, each and everything is digital, nothing is analog. So yeah, Hyundai have really moved a step further. But you have the red line at 6,500 RPM, as is the petrol one, and the top speed shows 220. You know, it won't go till there. You know, a lot of information over here, all are digital. That's about the front. Let's get on the back seats. Now coming to the rear seats of the new i20. So first thing I notice is the seats are a little upright, just a little bit, but that's no problem. Headroom is fine for me, knee room is just great, and legroom is beautiful. A lot, you can just stretch a lot. And Hyundai has done a really good job with the back seat space on this i20, as they've maximized it. and you have a reading light over here, and the roof in general is made of a soft touch material, feels very nice. Same with the seats also feel very nice. You have two manually adjustable headrests, and the third one doesn't have. But if you see over here, the hump is present, and the hump is not that big, honestly. So can you fit a third person over here? So yeah, it's kind of a tough place to be in. Again, knee room is great, but leg room is kind of, you have to just squeeze a little bit. But headroom is just awesome. You can you have a lot of headroom over here. It's beautiful. And coming to the storage in the back, you have a cup holder over here, just one. Same thing over here. And this is pretty huge compared to the ones in the front. And you have AC vents over here. Over here you have an extendable armrest with no cup holders, which is kind of annoying, but it is what it is. You also don't have any storage behind the seats. That is kind of annoying, and it minimizes the storage a lot, by a lot. Now coming to the boot of the new i20, you can see that it opens wide, very wide, and the loading lip is very good, honestly. It's kind of high, a little bit high, but it's fine. You have the scratch plate over here, and you have a light over here, just a single light over here, some hooks to carry your things, and you have Bose speakers all around the car. Because it's the Astra, the top variant, this gets Bose, and yeah, that's some class over there. That is some class. And you can also fold the rear seats. You just have to pull a tag over here, and then it's a 100 split, so the whole thing comes down. Of course, you can see as the hatchback, you can't fold it flat, so it is not a flat floor. You have this kind of hump kind of thing. But now what you get here is a 311 liters of boot space, which honestly is pretty cool. It's pretty good. And yeah, that's about the boot. Now coming to the chassis and suspension of the new i20, Hyundai has stiffened the chassis by 13%, and that's a pretty huge improvement if you look at it from the old i20. And because of the materials they have used on this one, they have shed almost 100 kilos, approximately 100 kilos. And that's a very nice improvement. It helps in eliminating body roll and all. Yeah, coming to the suspension, in the front you get McPherson struts, and at the back you get a couple torsion beam. So you get 3 engine options to choose from for the new i20. This very one is equipped with a 1.2 liter naturally aspirated inline 4 engine, which produces 82 horsepower and 115 Newton meters of torque, which is a pretty healthy number. And you also get a 1 liter turbo petrol, that's a 3-cylinder. You get it with 120 horsepower and 172 Newton meters of torque. And the third engine option is a 1.5 liter naturally aspirated inline 4 diesel engine, which produces 100 horsepower and 240 Newton meters of torque. And the diesel gets only a 6-speed manual, and the 1 liter turbo petrol 3-pot gets either a 6-speed IMT or a 7-speed DCT. And the 1.2 NA petrol, that is this one, you can get either in a 5-speed manual, which this is equipped with, or a CVT gearbox. Now, coming to the final verdict of the car, what do we think of the new i20? So I personally think that now Hyundai has finally matched it with its competition, and now it has proper rivals. And if I had to choose a car in this very segment, it would be this, the Hyundai i20 or the VW Polo or the Honda Jazz. So it would be between these three, very tough for me, but I may just go with the Honda Jazz because it has the most refined engine. It has a beautiful iVTEC engine, and it's extremely spacious inside. I think I would go for that, but this is not at all bad by any means. Even the design on this, the design is not bad, but I think I might prefer the previous gen a little bit more. But this one's not bad at all. Maybe it takes time for me to adapt to this design, I'm not sure, but you can see a lot of shortcuts and creases. Even the wheels on this go well with the bodywork, which is beautiful. And I would say that if you were to go with this very segment, with this very i20, I would say that just go for the 1.2 liter NA petrol 4-cylinder. You should be good with that. I would advise just stay away from the 1 liter turbo 3-cylinder. I don't know why. 3-pots are just no more in the game right now. So just go with the 4-cylinder petrol. That's my suggestion if you're going for this i20. But if you're going for the i20 N line, the N, the performance version of the i20, I would say hold your horses, because the recently launched Hyundai i20 N line is not a full-fledged N. It is just a 1 liter turbo petrol 3-cylinder, and that produces the same 120 horsepower and 172 Newton meters of torque as the normal 1 liter turbo 3-cylinder. That's kind of annoying when you think about it. They call it the N line, but again, you have a lot of aesthetic upgrades, which I don't think are worth it. So I would say that if you want the performance version, wait for the proper N to come, because that's going to have a blast. That's going to have 204 horsepower and all. And but if you were to go with this very segment and with this very car right now, you're just thinking of a car to buy right now, I would say go for the 1.2 liter NA 4-cylinder petrol. That would be my choice. Anyway, that's what we think about the car. Let us know what you think about the car in the comments below. As always, please make sure you subscribe to our channel, because we have loads of interesting content coming and you'll be notified whenever we make a new upload. Thank you so much for watching. See you next week. Goodbye.